Beloved soul, pause for a moment and breathe slowly. Settle yourself here, because this message did not reach you by accident. You were led to it at the exact moment you needed it. Something is moving around you right now. It may look quiet on the outside, it may seem hidden from your eyes, but there is more happening under the surface than you can see at this moment. You did not argue, you did not beg, you did not send one more message trying to explain your heart. You simply stopped. You stopped running after someone who had become used to receiving your love, your time, your care, and your energy without returning it in the same way. And in that silent choice, something powerful began. The person who once felt sure of your presence is now standing in a silence they did not expect. The warmth you gave so freely, the attention you offered so often, the emotional space you kept open for them, all of it has been pulled back. And they feel it, not through drama, not through conflict, not through angry words. They feel it through absence, and absence can say what words never could. Right now, whether you see it or not, they are thinking, they are wondering, they are feeling things they never thought they would feel, because for the first time they are meeting a version of you that is no longer holding the whole connection together alone. That changes everything. Stay with this. Do not scroll past the truth too fast. What feels silent to you may be speaking loudly in places you cannot see. When you stop chasing someone, the shift is not always loud, but it is real. Before this moment, the bond between you was being carried mostly by your effort, your messages, your care, your constant showing up. That steady flow of energy made it easy for them to stay comfortable. They did not have to decide what they really wanted. They did not have to face their own feelings honestly. They did not have to ask themselves hard questions about what this connection meant, because your energy kept filling the empty spaces before they ever had to feel them. The human heart was made to seek, to choose, to move with purpose. But when one person does all the reaching for both sides, the other person never has to step into the process that creates real commitment. They were enjoying the connection without carrying equal weight, and a bond that survives only because one person keeps saving it is not real balance, it is convenience. The moment you stepped back, that structure began to shake. Not because you created chaos, not because you tried to punish anyone, but because you stopped feeding an imbalance that was never supposed to last forever. What once felt safe and easy to them now feels uncertain. And when people sense they may lose something meaningful, uncertainty wakes them up fast. When you protected your heart, truth began to rise. Truth about the connection, truth about them, truth about you. Truth changes everything. Listen closely, because this is where many people miss the deeper lesson. Silence is not always emptiness. Sometimes silence is exposure. Sometimes silence is the first honest mirror both people have seen in a long time. Before your silence, their attention was passive. They received without feeling much need to give back. They answered when they wanted. They pulled away when it suited them. And deep down they expected your energy to return each time. They trusted that your effort would bridge every gap. They counted on your presence even if they never said it out loud. That pattern became their comfort zone. But now, without your energy pressing toward them, their attention has changed. For the first time, they are noticing your absence more than they ever noticed your constant presence. That is how people often work. When something is always there, the mind gets used to it. It moves it into the background. It stops seeing its value clearly. But when it disappears, the mind wakes up. The heart becomes alert. Your silence now has weight. Not because silence is a trick, not because it is a game, but because it interrupted what they expected. They thought you would reach out again. They thought you would come back with the same open heart, the same soft energy, the same willingness to keep things alive. And when that did not happen, a gap opened. Inside that gap, questions began forming. They may never say these questions aloud, but they are there. They are replaying conversations. They are thinking about moments they once brushed aside. They are asking themselves if something changed in you, or if something in them is finally being exposed. At first, it may not even feel like missing you in the simplest way. It begins as the shock of broken certainty. And broken certainty has a strange power. It wakes up feelings that comfort once kept asleep. This part matters more than most people realize, so keep listening. What is happening now goes deeper than most people can see. While you were chasing, you were carrying a weight that was never meant to be yours alone. You were giving more than your share. They were benefiting from that imbalance without fully seeing it. The connection kept moving, not because both hearts were equally invested, but because you were dragging it forward with your own hope, your own loyalty, your own effort. Because of that, the imbalance stayed hidden, maybe hidden from them, maybe even hidden from you in certain quiet moments. But now that you have stepped back, the truth can no longer hide. They are no longer being carried by your effort. So the connection now asks something of them that it did not ask before. It asks for movement. It asks for intention. It asks for real investment. And that feels new to them, maybe even uncomfortable. When someone is used to being pursued, that pursuit can feed a quiet sense of control. Your attention became a mirror that reflected their importance back to them again and again, without requiring much action on their side. But when you stop chasing, that mirror is removed. Suddenly they have to face what remains without it. They begin to wonder if they misunderstood the connection, if they took something rare for granted, if they assumed you would always stay available no matter how little they gave in return. And that thought can shake them more than they expected. The step you took toward stillness was not weakness, it was direction, it was wisdom, it was a turning point. Sometimes the strongest move is not another message. Sometimes it is restraint. Sometimes it is silence. Sometimes it is letting the truth breathe long enough for everyone to finally see it clearly. If this is speaking to your situation, stay with me, because the next part is where the hidden truth starts showing itself. One of the first things your silence reveals is the imbalance itself. While you were always giving, always reaching, always keeping things alive, the unfairness stayed covered by your effort. But now that your energy is no longer there to hide it, the truth becomes visible. They start to see how little they were really doing, how often you were the one reaching out, how often you carried the emotional weight alone. This is not meant to shame anyone, it is meant to uncover reality, and reality is where healing begins. Your silence also creates room for reflection, real reflection. When the noise of constant contact disappears, people are left with their own thoughts, and thoughts grow louder in stillness. They begin sitting with feelings they used to avoid. They begin facing truths they once kept buried under distraction and routine. Some of those truths may surprise them, some may convict them, but comfort never changes anyone the way truth can. Your silence also becomes a test of initiative. Before you were always moving things forward, now the next move belongs to them, and what they do with that space tells you more than 100 promises ever could. A person who truly values what you brought will not let the silence stay forever without trying to cross it. Maybe not perfectly, maybe not quickly, but real feeling leads to real action when the stakes become clear. And silence also reveals maturity. Not everyone handles absence the same way. A mature person will sit with the discomfort, look inward, and ask hard questions. An immature person will protect pride, avoid truth, and wait for you to return to your old pattern. Watch carefully. Their response is telling you who they are more clearly than their words ever did. Your absence also reveals the truth of their feelings. Sometimes your steady presence was keeping emotions alive in them that were more about habit than depth, more about comfort than true care. But when your energy is removed, only the honest feeling remains. If what they feel is real, your absence will not erase it, it will sharpen it. They will begin to miss you, not just as someone who was there, but as someone specific, someone irreplaceable, someone whose presence made a real difference in their life. They will start seeing what your energy truly meant. They will understand what they had in front of them and failed to honor fully. But if their feelings were shallow, if they were held together mostly by the ease of your availability, then that truth will show too. And either way, truth is a gift. Even painful truth is better than false hope. Your silence is also working on you. This part is important. It is not only affecting them, it is healing you. It is creating space inside you where peace can begin to grow again. When you stop sending all your energy outward towards someone who is not meeting you with the same heart, that energy starts returning home. It starts rebuilding what was drained. It starts sharpening your vision. It starts helping you see with more clarity than you had before. And finally, silence removes what is not real. If this connection was never meant to become something steady and true, then your silence will expose that too. Not through a dramatic ending, not through a loud collapse, but through quiet revelation. What is not meant to stay will often fall away when you stop forcing it to stand. And what falls away is not always a loss. Sometimes it is protection. Sometimes it is preparation. Sometimes it is life making room for something that will not require you to beg for what should come freely. Once your energy changes and the chasing stops, the person on the other side often enters a quiet kind of emotional unrest, even if they still look calm on the outside. That unrest usually begins with confusion. They had grown used to a rhythm with you, a pattern, a flow where your energy was always there, always reaching, always keeping the line open. That pattern gave them stability, even if they never admitted it. When it disappears, they feel the break. They start asking questions that do not settle easily. Why did this change happen? What caused this shift? Did they do something? Did you finally get tired? Did something wake up inside you? These questions move in circles. They do not land right away, and that creates discomfort. Then curiosity starts rising. They begin checking the silence, thinking about it at random times, wondering what you are doing, what you are feeling, whether you are truly gone or simply quiet for now. And beneath that curiosity, there can be anxiety, small at first, then deeper. Not always panic, not always obvious, but enough to disturb the peace they once felt. What happens next depends not on the silence alone, but on who they are inside. A person with emotional depth will not only react, they will reflect, they will look at themselves. They will ask how much they really gave, how honestly they communicated, how often they left you carrying what should have been shared. They will begin to see not only what they may be losing, but what they failed to offer when they had the chance. And from that kind of self-awareness, action can follow, real action, not breadcrumbs, not confusion dressed up as effort, but something intentional, something honest. That is why you must not rush to break the silence too soon. Let the truth finish speaking. Many people think once they step back, the answer should come quickly. They expect instant clarity, instant movement, instant results. But real change often happens in seasons, not in seconds. Just because things look quiet does not mean nothing is happening. A seed does not become a tree overnight. In the same way, deep truth takes time to rise. The silence you are in may feel long, but that does not mean it is empty. Things can be shifting where you cannot see them. Something may be stirring in them. Something may be healing in you. Something may be clearing out around the whole situation so that what is false loses its grip and what is real has room to appear. This is why you cannot judge the process too early. Quiet is not failure. Delay is not always denial. Slow does not mean forgotten. There are moments when your emotions will tell you to reach out again just to end the uncertainty, just to get relief, just to know something. But not every urge deserves action. Sometimes the urge to chase again is simply fear asking for comfort, and fear can make people run back to places that were draining them. So be careful. Hold your ground. Let the silence complete its work. Let time reveal what effort used to hide. This part may test you. It may stretch you. It may make you question yourself on certain days. But do not mistake discomfort for a wrong decision. Sometimes discomfort is just the feeling of breaking an old pattern. Sometimes peace comes later, after the habit of overgiving finally loosens its grip. Listen carefully now, because the next truth is one many people carry but rarely say aloud, and it may be the exact thing you need to hear. A lot of people return to chasing because they are afraid of being alone. They fear that if this person does not choose them, no one will. They fear this connection may have been the best they could ever get. They fear that waiting will only bring more waiting, more silence, more emptiness. If those thoughts have been visiting you, hear this clearly. Those thoughts are not truth, they are fear. Fear tells you to settle. Fear tells you to shrink your standards. Fear tells you to cling to half love because full love feels uncertain. But fear is a liar when it speaks over your worth. You are not meant to live as if one person's hesitation decides your value. You are not meant to believe that being chosen badly is better than being alone honestly. The need to chase often comes from a deeper wound, the wound that says, if I stop proving my value, I will be left. But real love does not require endless proof. Real connection does not ask one person to carry the whole weight while the other stays comfortable. If someone only moves when they feel your absence, then their next move still needs to be watched carefully, because missing access is not always the same as valuing your heart. Stay alert, stay calm, stay clear. Do not confuse temporary emotion with deep change. Let their actions grow long enough to reveal their truth. If they return, watch the consistency, watch the effort, watch whether they bring honesty, responsibility, and real intention, or whether they simply want the comfort of your old energy back. This is why your silence matters so much. It does not just reveal whether they feel something, it reveals what kind of person they become when your effort is no longer doing the work for them. And that difference matters. It matters more than sweet words, more than timing excuses, more than half-finished promises whispered at the edge of losing you. If they are emotionally mature, your silence can become a mirror that leads them into truth. They will not only feel discomfort, they will learn from it. They will notice where they stayed passive. They will see how often they relied on your consistency while offering only enough to keep you from fully leaving. They will understand that your quiet was not cruelty, it was clarity. And from that place they may come forward differently, slower perhaps but truer, softer perhaps but more certain. They may speak with more honesty than before, because now they understand the cost of staying unclear. But if they are not mature, the silence may reveal something else. They may choose pride over vulnerability, distance over accountability, ego over truth. They may tell themselves stories that protect them from feeling what they helped create. They may act unaffected while secretly hoping you return and restart the old cycle. And if that happens, that also is an answer. Not always the answer your heart wanted, but still an answer. Your work is not to force the right result. Your work is to stay aligned with truth once it appears. Let people show you who they are when you stop making it easy for them to remain half-committed. Let them show you whether they can step towards something meaningful without being dragged there by your patience. Let them show you whether they are ready for a bond built on effort from both sides, not comfort for one side and exhaustion for the other. This is why silence can be powerful, not because it controls, but because it reveals. It removes the fog, it strips away the performance, it lets reality rise, and once reality rises, you can finally decide from clarity instead of longing. That is a different kind of power, quiet, strong, clean, and life-changing if you let it be. So if you have stepped back, do not panic, because everything feels still. Stillness is not always an ending. Sometimes it is the place where hidden truth becomes visible. Sometimes it is where your heart finally stops chasing people who were comfortable being loved but unwilling to love with equal courage. Sometimes it is where your spirit starts coming back to itself. Right now, the silence is speaking. It is speaking to them through absence. It is speaking to you through peace slowly returning. It is speaking to the connection by testing whether anything real can stand when your effort is no longer holding it up. Let that message unfold. Do not rush to interrupt it. If this person truly values you, that truth will move. It will not remain a thought forever. It will become action. And if it does not become action, then you have learned something just as important. You have learned that your heart was trying to build a future where equal love was never truly present. That knowledge may hurt for a while, but it will also free you. There is power in no longer begging for clarity from people whose actions are already giving it. There is power in letting silence answer what confusion kept delaying. There is power in no longer spending your life proving your worth to someone who was content to receive it without honoring it. So breathe again, stand still, let the process speak. Let the truth rise all the way. What is meant for you will not need endless chasing to stay alive. What is real will meet you. What is honest will show itself. And what leaves because you stopped overgiving was never being held together by love in the first place. It was being held together by your effort. That chapter ends the moment you choose yourself enough to stop carrying what was never yours alone. And once you understand that, everything begins to change.